So let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes and everything related to Venezuela.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back. I think for us, it was just a statement widely, right? We say very quickly and to all the folks who come to us, this is the process. Go to your JAG officer, ask them for explanation, for top cover, for their view on things. We do that on a case-by-case basis, but we wanted to speak directly to the volumes of people who had come to us on this.
And now it's time for a little segment we like to call Only in America. Half a dozen Democrats released an online video this week urging U.S. servicemen and women to defy illegal orders.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
you must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
we know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
As you can imagine, the reaction has been off the charts. Overnight, President Donald Trump himself posted to Truth Social, "This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up." And when he decided jail time didn't go far enough, he called for the death penalty. Seditious behavior punishable by death, he wrote. The lawmakers in the viral video then responded to Trump's posts, demanding he delete them and calling on every American to unite and condemn the president's calls for our murder and political violence. Well, he didn't exactly call for murder, but his response was extreme, even if the message in that video did give off a clear treasonous vibe. But according to Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan, it's everyone else's fault for misinterpreting the video, claiming it was never about telling servicemen to ignore orders. She said, "I'm enormously frustrated with the way that this very sensible video is being interpreted in a really insidious way." Really? Roll the tape.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
you must refuse illegal orders.
You make up your own mind.
has emerged within the MAGA movement after the resignation of Republican Congresswoman and former Trump ally Marjorie Taylor Greene. Joining us live from the United States is our analyst Michael Ware for this and more. Good to see you, Michael. Thanks for your time. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's not a central player in the grand scheme of things, but she did tick a lot of MAGA boxes. Epstein, military interventionism, which is growing. But are the cracks there?
Well, isn't that the great question here about Marjorie Taylor Greene's announcement this morning that not only is she not seeking re-election in the House, but she's not going to run for president in the next cycle? I'd put a question mark or an asterisk on that one. Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene is really a canary down the mine. She wasn't just MAGA. She was a MAGA flag bearer. She loved President Trump and President Trump loved her. But what she symbolises is that within this incoherent thing that is the MAGA movement, there are certain core principles that President Trump doesn't necessarily align with, especially now that he's in office. And she represents those core principles. At the top of that list of principles was releasing the full Epstein files. In many ways, she was pivotal to forcing Donald Trump to do an about course, a complete reversal, and agree to sign the bill, if presented to him, to release the full Epstein files. But as you touch upon, it's military interventionism and other things. She also represents the MAGA drive for affordability, which President Trump, in all the polling, is completely underwater on. He's losing big time on the economy. He's even losing on immigration. And she was a huge proponent for immigration reform. So on some of these core MAGA principles, President Trump is getting smacked about in the polls. Marjorie Taylor Greene stood up to him very publicly, more so than any other MAGA stalwart has. And she won on the issue, the Epstein files, but perhaps she's lost out overall because President Trump said, I'm not going to support your renomination and I'll back someone who's going to run against you. And she seems to have crumpled in the face of President Trump's might within the MAGA movement.
So more broadly, Michael, I mean, year two of term two is upon us. And as one congressman said overnight, Trump is still the biggest dog in the pound. But I mean, this comes for everyone. I know Trump is different gravy, but are we approaching lame duck status soon?
It's funny you mention that because that term is being thrown around, that President Trump may become a lame duck president. Because if you believe the polling and the political currents right now, the Republican Party, led by President Trump, is coming up for a shellacking in the midterms in about a year. And so that's when he'd become a lame duck. If he lost the House and can't control the Senate or loses the Senate, President Trump is completely powerless. So yes, the possibility that President Trump could become a lame duck is actually being spoken of here in the United States. And like I said, his polling is so underwater, a snorkel wouldn't help him right now. And that's a crisis he and the party have to address before the midterms.
So